Coffee beans or granulated coffee beans are always in one's pantry no matter what. Waking up to the smell of coffee is what makes one smile in the morning no matter what, especially when it is blended with the sweet taste of hazelnut creamer. Either it be going to a coffee shop.
Do you? I'll have a Trenta no foam 5-shot half cap, no foam, pumpkin spice latte with no foam at 210 degrees.
Or making coffee at home. It is a cost that is necessary to make one's day. Without having a small drink of coffee a day, one would become very negative.
Laura, I don't hate you because you're fat. You're fat because I hate you.
But what consumers do not know is that coffee will become extinct in 20 years if we don't do something about it. The price of a cup of coffee could elevate so high that only the wealthy will be able to afford it.
For Chanel.
Thank you, coffee donkey. You burned the milk! Learn to make a pumpkin spice latte, you psychopath.
Catastrophe that over generations we will witness and could have been prevented. Countries who cultivate coffee will also be losing out on a huge market in the global economy, and their workers will join others in the unemployment line. We as college students must use our knowledge to help conserve and save this modern dinosaur from extinction, because it is too late, or it is too late. This documentary is only one step to accomplish.
What's your name?
Maroon Ashanaki. I'm Samantha Avila.
What's your major?
I'm a bio major. I'm a theater major.
Did you know that coffee is going to become extinct in 20 years?
Are you serious?
I'm being serious. The price of the coffee cup that you're paying for right now, $3, will be rising to around $24 to $30 a cup.
What? Really? That's insane. Why? Why would they do that?
How does this make you feel?
I mean, I think it's kind of stupid sometimes because some people just need coffee to like run off their like energy and stuff. Yeah, a lot. So yeah.
So why weren't you aware as a college student like most people in society would say?
I mean, like not a lot of people like would think that coffee is gonna go extinct. It's something that we all need.
I didn't think it would be a big deal going up like that. Yeah.
There are two main coffee bean varieties. These include coffee Arabica and Robusta. However, about 70% of coffee produced today is made with Arabica beans. This is due to the fact that they are higher quality than Robusta beans. Robusta coffee beans are mainly used in instant coffee or canned coffee grounds since the caffeine level are much higher. A common misconception about coffee is the fact that there might be a huge variety of beans, but the actuality is that only two types of beans are mainly produced worldwide. Other than these two types of beans, there is another type of bean that is usually less known. This type of bean is known as the Liberica bean and is usually produced in the Philippines, Lipa, and Batangas. The main reason this bean is not produced in large quantities like Arabica and Robusta beans is because of the growing conditions required to produce this type of coffee bean. Arabica coffee beans are produced worldwide. Robusta coffee beans are mainly produced in Asia, while the vast variety of the Arabica beans come from Central and South America. Robusta and Arabica coffee beans are mainly produced in Indonesia, Colombia, Vietnam, and Brazil. Brazil being the top producer of coffee beans for the past 150 years, having nearly square kilometers of coffee bean plantations. Growing conditions in all these countries allow a stable and steady production of coffee. The farms in these countries rely primarily on manual labor, causing the rate of production to vary year to year. For example, a small coffee producer in Colombia relies primarily on manual labor, this including planting, harvesting, taking the seeds out, drying, packaging, and distributing. Although manual labor is practically heavily in these countries, the production and efficiency could improve greatly with the intervention of machines in the farm place. This intervention could also be a possible solution to the coffee issue presently occurring worldwide.
Coffee plants are very finicky when it comes to producing beans. Certain conditions and criteria need to be met in order to keep the coffee plant healthy and producing beans. The US does not have the weather that properly supports the growth of coffee, so we have to import it. Coffee is one of the US's biggest imports behind petroleum. Pound for pound, coffee prices are constantly changing. This is due to the climate change, altering the success rates of plants, creating a shortage or surplus of coffee. Even slight changes in weather are going to take their toll on the studies conducted at this rate. Coffee will totally be off the planet in the years 2080 unless a solution to this epidemic struck the coffee industry. A fungi known as coffee leaf rust hit Central America. In 2012, the coffee leaf rust hit some of the major producers of coffee beans: Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala. On the overall effects of the fungus, outbreaks resulted in a 20% drop in production, causing an estimated $500 million in loss, not to mention the hundreds of thousands of jobs. Factors such as climate and fungal outbreaks could trigger the coffee scarce, causing it to be right around the corner and appear within the next few years. These two coffees need for a specific environment. It is perfect for developing countries who have the ideal weather to make money, satisfy the people, and get them what some consider fuel. Due to these reasons, coffee production has a sustainable role in the economy of developing countries as well as developed countries. If production were to decay or drop like in 2012, the overall economy of the developing countries would drop, not just because of less coffee, but because of the hundreds of thousands of people will be out of a job and demand will increase. So will the price per coffee per cup. The overall coffee crisis would affect more than the simple coffee consumer. It would bring about a series of chain events that could cause the downfall of a country's economy. For this reason, a solution must be implemented to assure the well-being of coffee plants.
Many countries are searching for solutions to the coffee crisis, and so far, a large number of treatments have been found. With the planet becoming increasingly warmer thanks to the effects of global warming, many coffee-producing areas have found ways to combat the heat. For example, South American and East African countries have begun planting at higher elevations in order to keep the crop cooler. However, this solution excludes countries that do not have level land suitable for farming at high elevations, such as El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Honduras. Another idea is to move coffee production further from this. This solution is far from ideal, as it would take an important part of the economy away from southern countries, and setting up new farms would take too much time to be very effective, as it takes several years for the plants to become productive once relocated. Unwilling to move production and lacking colder environments, many countries are seeking ways to keep the coffee plant cool while keeping. One idea is to shade the plants from the sun by planting trees or erecting large umbrella-like structures. The shade generated will lower the temperature the plants are exposed to by about 4 degrees Celsius. There are still a few drawbacks to such a solution though. While it is easy to set up and maintain, both the trucks of the trees and poles and umbrellas will get in the way of large mechanical farming equipment, which in turn means that harvesters would not be able to fit in the fields. This is troublesome, as picking the coffee beans by hand would take much more manpower and time, thus reducing production and or raising the price of the product. There might be hope for the future of the Arabica coffee plant in the field of genetics. Currently, scientists are looking at ways to create strains of the plant that are more resistant to extreme weather changes. Cenophora can lead to discoveries in this area, and it is more heat resistant than its most popular counterpart. It is thought that either crossbreeding for greater genetic variation or even using genetic modification can accomplish these ends. As of 2012, the United Kingdom's Royal Botanic Gardens and the World's Coffee Research Institute are working closely with the Ethiopian government on increasing genetic variation in the Arabica plant. The downside of turning genetically modified organisms or crossbreeding as a solution is that it is one that will take a long time to implement, as first it will take years to even develop a strain of Arabica coffee with the desired traits, and then several more years to distribute the new strain to the all over coffee. Surprisingly, most of the research for the preservation of Arabica coffee is being funded by the countries that consume the product rather than grow it. This is because even though the government of production countries like Brazil and Ethiopia are funding research, they simply do not have enough funds and manpower to devote to the cause. The situation is far worse than even smaller countries with less resources, thus making first world governments have begun funding research into the solutions to the problem. In fact, the United States government has spent $5 million in the name of preserving coffee. This is not done out of a coffee lover or even desire to keep prices low for customers, but rather to protect the economics of such of the most impoverished countries in the world who rely on the coffee to provide income. In the end, it is the same taxpayers who are funding the majority of the research. Even with the backing of the major economic powers, the world is still far behind in preserving Arabica coffee, as many of the methods mentioned above have not been implemented everywhere. The smaller coffee farms are the ones that lose out the most in the situation, as they lack the funding to assist themselves, but are overlooked for large farms, which receive the most immediate attention for both local and foreign governments. Farmers of these smaller plots are worried that in the race against time to save Arabica coffee, they will be left behind and lose their crop before the solution to the problem finally reaches them, thus leaving only. These, however, are short-term solutions to the coffee crisis. If we want to preserve the long-term prosperity of coffee production around the world, then the issue of global warming needs to be addressed. The coffee plants are sensitive to change in temperature. Coffee plants are sensitive to changes in temperature, so it is core issue is not solved, then the short-term solutions will do nothing but buy more time before the inevitable collapse of the industry happens. However, ignoring the immediate problem and focusing on long-term solutions will most likely lead to extinction of Arabica coffee long before the problem is stated. The best solution would be implemented the short-term solutions in order to give us more time to develop methods that have a long-term cost.